The Mandalorian arrives at a planet we all should be familiar with. I'm John Berry, and welcome to my review of The Mandalorian Chapter 5, The Gunslinger. This episode is set on a planet we all should be innately familiar with. If you're not familiar with this planet, well, that means you've only seen The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Solo, and Rogue One. Maybe you've also seen Empire, though this planet was mentioned in Empire. Yes, the planet I'm talking about is Tatooine. So we are on Tatooine in this episode. And man, are there plenty of callbacks to A New Hope, to Star Wars. We get some familiar sights, callback to things in the original movie. No, we'll allude to it. Some things are going to be more direct than others. Some things may even be present. It's just great what they did. And I probably could spend a good number of time talking about it, but you're probably here for the story. But I'm going to keep the actual thing you want, the Easter eggs to A New Hope, on the back burner while I really quickly talk about the story. So yes, in this episode, the Mandalorian starts out, he's being pursued by some bounty hunter. He pulls off a maneuver and is able to defeat the other bounty hunter. This is all in space. I think in the orbit of Tatooine, because I didn't see any hyperspace jumps. But he goes to Tatooine, lands in one of the docking bays, doesn't want any droids to repair his ship, which is in need of repair. He leaves Baby Yoda probably where he sleeps. It has like a cot in it, so yeah, of course Baby Yoda does get out. And it's just so cute when he does that, but yeah. And the Mandalorian, as I said, needs a ship repair, but he doesn't want any droids to do the repairs. So the woman whose name I don't know, I don't think she was called by name in the episode, probably in the credits, but I forgot to check that. But yeah, so she's like the manager of the docking bay, and so she's doing the repairs because that's her job. So the Mandalorian goes seeking some work so he can earn some credits, and he meets this new bounty hunter who, well, let's just say is very, very inexperienced. He pretty much is taking on one of the, well, how should I put it, the most dangerous bounties out there as his first job. Yeah. He also has this cocky attitude that's very reminiscent of Han, even how he's sitting when he and the Mandalorian meet. Yeah, that's one of the Easter eggs. There's a dab there. But yeah, so they go out into the Dune Sea to find this target. And because the bounty hunter says, I just need this bounty so I can get into the guild properly. So he wants that, and he's willing to give the Mandalorian all the credits for this bounty, because he's so focused on getting into the guild. So they go out to get this target, they come across Tusken Raiders, and we learn that the Mandalorian knows a sign language so he's able to communicate with the Tusken Raiders, and they're able to negotiate a deal for passage. And that scene was pretty neat as well. But yeah, they eventually find the target. They kind of have to camp out till night so that the Mandalorian can use a device he has, which is like a flare type thing that makes scopes difficult, stops scopes from operating for a brief period of time. So big flashlight scopes, you can't see anything, because their target is an assassin who's an excellent sniper. And then they do this kind of unsweet effects, going across a plane, using those things to blind the target as she's sniping them. And yes, the target is a she, in case you were curious. But yeah, the Mandalorian speeder bag gets hit. He gets a direct hit on the Beskar, but he survives because it's Beskar. So he is, winded for a moment. And they do get the target. Then the Mandalorian goes to find a dewback they had saw earlier that another bounty hunter was on, that the target had killed, because they needed some more transportation because his speeder bike was toast. And originally he told the other bounty hunter to go get it, but the other bounty hunter wouldn't, so he did. Yeah, it actually went better than I thought for that character, but worse for the Mandalorian. So basically, the target attempts to talk the younger bounty hunter, the inexperienced one, into letting her go, and so he can go after the Mandalorian instead, convincing the younger bounty hunter that the Mandalorian is a more valuable target. Which, in all fairness, he probably is. But, of course, he's not, the younger bounty hunter is not dumb. He knows that if he takes the binders off the target, that, yeah, it probably won't go well for him, so he shoots her. And, like, I did not actually see that coming. I'm more expecting him to take the bounty hunter off I expected him when he took the binders off, which he didn't, but I expected that if he did, that she was going to, you know, to like, punch him or something and steal the speeder bike. That's what I expected. Did not happen, which is kind of nice. Instead, he shoots first, for lack of a better term. And of course, the Mandalorian arrives. He knows something's up. He goes back to his ship, and what do you know? The younger bounty hunter has taken the manager of the docking bay and Baby Yoda hostage. Well, suffices to say, the Mandalorian uses those things from earlier, those flares, because he has his hands up here, and like he's smart. He uses it to blind the other bounty hunter so he can get around, flank him, and shoot him. And then, of course, what Baby Yoda does in this, because the other bounty hunter is holding Baby Yoda on this. Baby Yoda, you know, at some point when it's like, duck, gets away, I'm thinking about the same time the Mandalorian shoots the other bounty hunter, maybe a little after, and goes just behind it crate. It's just cute. It really is. Just how that's done. But yeah. And then, of course, he goes over to the other bounty hunter, finds the other bounty hunter's credits, and before he leaves, he gives all those credits to the manager of the docking bay for, you know, to cover his costs. And I'm thinking it was more than actually what would have been due her for her job. I just got that suspicion on there. But yeah, that's how the episode ends. There's some pretty good stuff. I pointed out two things I saw in particular. Now let's talk about all those Easter eggs. The one I kind of glossed over is also related to the plot point of when the Mandalorian first meets that inexperienced bounty hunter. He's walking down the streets of Mos Eisley, and he goes into a cantina. A cantina we all should be familiar with. I realized it before he even got in the cantina because they showed the shot of the outside, including some wreckage that's sitting outside the cantina from A New Hope. I thought, oh, I know which cantina he's going to. I just knew it. But I gotta say, the cantina was fairly empty. Well, one thing we do learn in actually that thing is that the bounty hunter guild no longer operates out of Tatooine. So that could explain the decrease in traffic there. Who knows? But yeah, the cantina is like, it's the same cantina. It looks a bit more cramped. It actually kind of reminds me more of how the cantina looks in the original Star Wars Battlefront video games, believe it or not. I don't know why it just does. Could be just, you know, perspective. It's not like, because we do see a different perspective. We get more of a, well, more from the Mandalorian's height rather than Luke's height. Let's be real. That probably explains all the differences. But yeah, no, the Raiders are droids now. Yeah, droids. So clearly it's not the same owner anymore. Otherwise, they probably would not have been droids as the bartenders. It's just speculation, but yeah. So he's there, so we get to see the cantina pretty empty. Could also be the time of day, I don't know. But yeah, but it's the same cantina, everything, and then because the other bounty hunter, the younger one, calls up, he's sitting in the booth, very much like how Han was sitting before, when Greedo showed up. I mean, like, is there going to be a shootout or something? I was half actually expecting that, but I was not. I was half expecting it, but I wasn't, like, expecting it. Like, I knew, like, are they? No, they're not. But would they? Could they? That's, I kind of thought I was going through my head. Because the Mandalorian never sits down, but the idea that this younger bounty hunter is being, you know, kind of cocky, and that's how we were introduced to Han, and I just love that, though. Those are just some neat parallels. And actually, speaking of that docking bay, it's not docking bay 94. It's not the same one the Millennium Falcon was in. Nope. but it still must eyes the docking bay, and we get to see a docking bay. One that's clearly more cluttered than the one the Falcon was in. But yeah, another thing, on the way to the Cantina, that's where, if you remember from the trailers, we had the scene with all those stormtrooper helmets on the spikes. That's where it appears, and I gotta say, that's pretty unsettling, even though we've seen it before. But it does kind of showcase, basically, the state of the galaxy. While, sure, I doubt stormtrooper helmets would be on spikes, over on Chandrilla or Hosnian Prime, but here in the Outer Rim, fair game. And, of course, the Tusken Raiders, the younger bounty hunters looking through macro binoculars at, some Tuskens, bandsas. And, it is exactly like how it was with Luke in A New Hope. Except for the Tusken Raiders don't jump up in front of him and we get no Crate Dragon. It's done differently, but the setup is the same. The Tusken Raiders were pretty much doing the same things with their bandsas. It's clearly this is a trap they do frequently, not a one-off thing. And the Mandalorians are kind of talking about Tusken Raiders, how they consider themselves the local people and all that. And the younger Mandalorian makes some offhanded comment, and the Mandalorian responds, "Why didn't you tell them yourself?" The younger bounty hunter stands up, turns around, 2 Tusken Raiders right there. So I just loved how that scene worked out, because it had the same setup as we had from A New Hope. Well, it's almost the same. Luke wasn't looking for Tusken Raiders, he wasn't told to look at them, but that's what happened. But that same setup and premise, and I really liked how they kind of switched it up a little bit, and then the Mandalorian uses sign language to communicate with Tusken Raiders, and is able to negotiate a passage in exchange for the macro binoculars. And so the young bounty hunter's they were brand new! I kind of sympathized with him a little bit right there. But I really did love how that paralleled that one. Actually, really, both of those 2 scenes I've talked about really paralleled the original movie from all that. It did that, but it didn't copy them, which is great. The setup's the same, the payoff is different. I know it's not a joke, but you can have 2 jokes with the same setup but different payoffs. And here, we get 2 scenes with nearly identical setups from the original series, not Star Trek, from Star Wars, and we get totally different payoffs, which I think is very well done. It's a good way to pay homage to the original trilogy, and hey, this is the Star Wars you remember, but let's remember, it's not gonna be identical. And I really did like how that message was communicated, simply through the way the shots was structured, how those scenes were structured. Oh, and one other thing, the woman who is the manager of the docking bay makes a comment about the Mandalorian, how he knows nothing about raising a child, which is something I think a lot of us have come to realize. If we haven't already, I'm where have you been? And I don't remember what the Mandalorian's response was, but yeah, he doesn't know how to raise a child. And I really did like how they did that, makes his characters self-aware, or at least other characters self-aware about the situation, which I think is very good, and probably will get the Mandalorian thinking. And that was actually kind of why he initially wanted to leave Baby Yoda on the planet from Chapter 4, because he knew, the Baby Yoda would, have a better, for lack of a better term, family life. He would be raised by people who know how to raise him. So the Mandalorian, I think, is aware, but as we know, people are looking for Baby Yoda, and as such, the Mandalorian is staying with to protect Baby Yoda. But we should talk about the last scene. So another being male bounty hunter. We only see this character's legs up. It could be a male, because this is doing lots of parodies of samurai films and Western genres. Very looking at the original inspirations of Star Wars and extrapolating from there. So that leads me to think that this character could be a male. And the sounds are very much stirrup-like, so think cowboy. That's I think what I was going for. Now, what we need to pull a bait and switch. And I have no idea who this character is. All we know is this character has 2 legs and what looks like a cape and an arm. That's literally it. I'm going to stand up real quick. So, like, right about the waist. That's like the highest we go on him. So we know he has legs. And I don't remember if we see his right arm, but I don't remember seeing his left arm. So, but yeah. So we know this, part of this person, but we don't know. But he comes up to the target that the Mandalorian, the inexperienced bounty hunter, was going at earlier. Now, I've been perusing on Twitter. There's a few people who are speculating, could that be Boba Fett? Not a terrible idea, but I don't know. And that's true, I don't know. And we don't actually want to speculate on who this character could be, but I would be speculating on what they are doing. Does that make sense? Okay, maybe I'll speculate on who they are, but not who their identity is. My guess is that they're another bounty hunter who's probably tracking the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. But he doesn't seem to be using a fob or anything. Seems like he's using tracking skills. No technology in order to hunt the Mandalorian down. Who knows? Maybe it could be Boba Fett. I think just another Mandalorian in general would be kind of neat. And who knows? Maybe it's, who was that character from the Aftermath book? Actually, more specific, who was the character from one of the, interludes? Card Vance, something like that. Basically, a constable, a sheriff, if you will, on a small remote Tatooine village, who finds Mandalorian armor, Boba Fett's armor. So, that would be a kind of interesting character to introduce. A character wearing Boba Fett's armor who's not Boba Fett. Oh man, that would be awesome. But, alas, we don't know. But, whoever this mysterious character is clearly tracking the Mandalorian specifically. Not Baby Yoda, the Mandalorian, because if he was tracking Baby Yoda, why would he be out where that target was? No. He was tracking the Mandalorian. Not using a fob. Otherwise, he wouldn't need to go there, most likely. So that does lead me to guess that this is probably somebody who is working for the guild, but the guild's not putting out an active bounty on the Mandalorian, or they just don't have any, anything for the fob to work with, which we don't even know how they work yet. But yeah, we got some interesting things dropped in this episode. If I continue any longer, this review might be longer than the episode itself. But yeah, this is a great episode. It might be my favorite episode so far, namely because of all the callbacks to A New Hope without copying. Just some setup parallels, and then it goes in a different direction, which I really love. And only for a few scenes as well. And I just gotta say, the shots of Tatooine in space, beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen Tatooine look so beautiful, really. I don't remember seeing the Twin Suns where we saw Tatooine's moons. It was really just a well-structured shot, and that's how we knew we were at Tatooine, through the planet itself. Just by looking at what the planet looks like from space, because it's the first planet we see in Star Wars, ever. And now we see it again in Chapter 5 of Star Wars The Mandalorian. Thank you for tuning into my review of Chapter 5. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a like, and let me know what you thought of the episode down below. And also, let's just throw this out there. Who do you think that mysterious figure could be? And, wrong answers only, please. Anyhow, if you want to, be sure to follow me on social media. If you want to, consider checking out my Patreon if you would like to support me. And you can consider joining my Discord server as well. All those links are in the description down below. And that's all I have for today. Besides, be sure to check out the video playlist that will be on screen shortly, and subscribing. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.